IMF drops a bombshell. Bangladesh GDP per capita will overtake India's for the first time in history. Indian media went overdrive. Are we falling behind? Bangladesh model better than India. The headline screamed betrayal. Bangladesh celebrated. We panicked.
The IMF has said that
Bangladesh likely to overtake India.
बांग्लादेश ने भारत को पीछे छोड़ दिया है.
Per capita GDP will leave India behind.
Fast forward today, Bangladesh is a nation unraveling. Its longest-serving PM fled in a helicopter, and interim government struggles to contain the street violence. Minorities are under attack and face unprecedented violence. The Bangladesh miracle looks very different now. 6 years later, I pulled the actual data. IMF projections, World Bank numbers, and its own economic reports. And what I found will shock you. The projection, completely wrong. But the reason why it failed reveals something far more important about India's economy. Let me show you how. Let's rewind. 2015 to 2019. Bangladesh wasn't growing, it was flying. Real GDP growth averaging 7.3 annually. India's stuck at 6.8%. Their garment export exploded with $37 billion. Dhaka became the textile capital of Asia. Bangladesh had a formula. Low wages, $95 per month for garment workers. Competitive currency, Dhaka deliberately kept weak, and the massive remittances flowing in from workers abroad. On paper, it looked unstoppable. Meanwhile, India was struggling. 2019 GDP growth crashed to 4%. Demonetization chaos. GST implementation mess. Unemployment hit 6.1% in 2017-18. Highest in 45 years according to the leaked NSSO report. International media started asking, has India lost its way? So when IMF released their October 2020 forecast, it made a perfect sense. Bangladesh GDP per capita, $1,888. India's $1,877. An $11 gap. Small but symbolic. For the first time since 1947, our neighbours would be richer per person than us. Bangladesh erupted in celebration. We have overtaken India. Indian think tank went defensive. It was just a blip. We'll bounce back. But here's what nobody saw coming. A virus from Wuhan was about to rewrite everything. And the prediction, it would be right, but for all the wrong reasons. March 2020, COVID-19 shuts down the world. India announces strictest lockdown on earth.
देश के अनेक भागों में लॉकडाउन कर दिया गया है.
1.4 billion people confined, and the economy flattens. Q1 reports, GDP contracts 23.9%. The worst quarterly performance in recorded history. Bangladesh logs down too, but less severely. By the end of 2021, IMF prediction materialized, but the numbers were even more dramatic. Bangladesh GDP per capita, $2,227. India's $1,947. Headlines exploded. Bangladesh overtakes India. Historic moment. But I need you to understand something very critical. This wasn't Bangladesh winning. This was India collapsing. Look at the data. Bangladesh GDP per capita grew steadily through 2020. Remarkable. India's GDP per capita for 2020 crashed due to lockdown. We didn't lose because they got better. We lost because we got hammered worse by COVID. But why did India crash harder? 3 reasons. 1. Our lockdown was draconian. police enforcing lathis, everything shut. 2. Migrant worker crisis. 10 million workers worked home, collapsing an urban economy. Third, our service sector, over 54% of GDP died overnight. No offices, no services. Bangladesh had an advantage. Their economy is simpler. Over 80% of the total export earnings come from garment exports. When Western demands recovered in late 2020, orders flooded back, factories reopened, plus remittances held steady. $21.7 billion in 2020. Their workers abroad kept sending money home. So yes, Bangladesh overtook India in 2020, 2021 and 2022 and even on 2023. For 4 straight years they led. The prediction was right. But here's where the story takes a turn nobody expected. Year 2022, Bangladesh economic miracle starts cracking. Their foreign exchange reserves had peaked at $48.6 billion in August 2021, then free fall. By December 2022, down to $33 billion. By late 2023, below $25 billion. They burned through $23 billion in 27 months. What happened? A perfect cyclone. First, Russia-Ukraine war. Oil prices exploded. Bangladesh imports 100% of its oil. Their oil import bill doubled overnight. Second, Taka collapsed, lost 25% value against the dollar. Everything imported became 25% more expensive. Third, inflation hit 9.8%, second highest in a decade after 2024, which hit another benchmark of 10.5%. Then came the political earthquake. July 2024, protests erupt, quota reforms they demanded. Sheikh Hasina's government responded with force. Over 1,400 dead according to the UN estimates. The economy freezes, investors panic. 15 years of economic stability gone in 48 hours. So what's the outcome? The outcome is our GDP per capita in 2024 is $2,731 versus Bangladesh $2,622. We reclaim the lead. 2025 projections, the gap widens further. So what did India do right? 3 things. 1. Digital infrastructure. UPI transactions hit 100 billion in 2023. The digital economy exploded. Second, manufacturing push. The PLI scheme brought billions of dollars of investment in India. Apple, Samsung, making in India. Third, service recovery. IT exports crossed 200 billion. We diversified. But here's the deeper truth. Bangladesh economy is fragile, over-dependent in one sector. When garments struggle, everything struggles. India's economy, diversified. Services, manufacturing, agriculture, digital. We have shock absorbers. They don't. That's not luck. That's structural strength. So the IMF prediction, technically correct for 4 years, but missed the fundamental reality. And that reality reveals something crucial about economic development. India's economy is now $4 trillion. Bangladesh, $450 billion. We are nearly 9 times larger. That means resilience. When one sector fails, other compensate. We have over 750 million internet users. They have 100 million. We have 140 unicorn startups. They have 2. Scale matters. Innovation tells a real story. India's space missions to Mars, Moon, Chandrayaan-3 landed where no one else could. UPI revolutionized payments globally, now expected to 8 countries. Bangladesh, still dependent on garment manufacturing technology from 1990s. That's a 30-year innovation gap. Look at the trajectory. By 2030, India's GDP is projected at $7 trillion. Bangladesh, $800 billion. We will be 9 times larger economy. Our per capita gap will widen to over $500. But here's what matters more than numbers. India is building capabilities. Semiconductors, AI, green energy, and defense manufacturing. Bangladesh is still hoping garment orders would return. So what's the real lesson from this India-Bangladesh story? Short-term metrics don't tell the whole story. GDP per capita can flip in a crisis, but the structural strength, diversification, innovation, scale, that's what survives. The IMF was right about 2020, but they missed what happens next. And next is India wins. This wasn't just about India versus Bangladesh. It was about understanding how economics really works. Headline captures moment, data reveals trend, but structure determines destiny. Bangladesh had their moment. We have our trajectory. If you want more economic analysis like this, data-driven, no bias, just facts, this channel breaks down complex economics into clear insights. Hit the subscribe button if this added value to you. If you learned something new, and comment, did Bangladesh prediction surprise you? I read every comment. So see you in the next video.